Well, this is probably the last thing that anyone watching this video expected to see in their sub boxes today. It's been a 4-month hiatus, almost. 3.5. The last recording was January. And then I moved on to focus more on Slipstream Racing series, except that came to a premature end, and then that chaos ensued and almost continued it, but then it screwed up again, and then I just kind of felt like the roster I made was weird and not really that good, so I didn't do that. And then here we are on the #1 series that doesn't take any effort from me outside of just watching the gameplay itself for an hour. The Challenge series has finally returned. You didn't even get to the end of a year, or like a calendar year or season year. I didn't want to call it season because it's technically like a calendar year is supposed to pass. Like, think of each tier as like 2 months. So like this would be like April, or this would be like January, February, March, April, June, July, August, September, October, November. What? Oh, okay, well, it's 12 months, so if anything, I think more like each one is like month and month, I don't know. And then we also have like the one make too, so that's planned for at the end of in between tier S and A, when all the stuff resets. But anyway, heading straight into tier D with the high-class sports cars and middle-class racing cars. See on the left the full driver lineup and everything. The only drivers debuting here, I believe Carly Watts might be a new driver. I think anyway. They weren't in tier C, despite Ford GTs literally being their favorite car. Brian Ice and Farah Fadanzi are also debuting drivers in this particular tier. So yeah, we'll just jump into it. Alright, well, on the starting grid for the first race of Tier D, this is Imola, which has become sort of the customary starting point for a lot of tiers at this point. Ironically, the player, is driving the 8th vehicle that's technically in this tier, but nobody went with it because most of the ones that like Italian vehicles also had the Lamborghini Superleggera to go for, and of course you're going to go for that. Why wouldn't you go for a Lamborghini? Why would you not go for a Lamborghini over a Maserati? When money isn't an option, or when money isn't an object anyway. Dedrick Schwartz, who's come second in a lot of tiers, has never won a championship, but he is on the pole. Alongside him on the front row is Thomas O'Reilly, who won the previous tier. And we are green in the Challenge Series for the first time since, well, January. There, let's think about that for a minute. Don't think about it too long, though, because Farah Fadanzi has already attempted to take the lead away from Schwartz, but the braking and cornering ability of the GT4 Porsche means that it's not quite done yet. The combat continues into turn, I guess you call this 3? Or this be 4, or maybe 2. Schwartz finds himself all over the curbs, but Fadanzi decides to not force the issue. And we begin to head up the hill. James Stillwell is definitely a driver that probably wants to have some sort of resurgence in this tier. He's appeared in many tiers throughout the last season and year and a half, but he hasn't really done much of anything in any of the ones he participated in. Mind you, his vehicles have usually been on the back foot of what's actually viable in a particular category, but GTR is more than capable of winning races in Tier D. You just have to know how to drive it. Which, it's a GTR, it really couldn't be that hard. Fidunzi's still unable to make a total overtake on Schwartz. Top speed difference too strong. Or the top speed difference not strong enough. The cornering difference is too strong to allow the Lamborghini driver to pass and remain ahead the whole way through. And the perfect example of the classical power versus cornering battle that is often found in motorsport. And that's not going to do it either. Dedrick's going to way outbrake that. Meanwhile, in the back, Stillwell under pressure from Brian Ice, and that move has, well, already been settled. No purple Lamborghini, unfortunately, so Brian Ice has to go with a white car instead. Which you would think that'd be what he wants in the first place, but no, it's not. The two 488 drivers are going at it, and Wojciechowski has found himself in a little bit of sand. Cameron Walker joins the Challenge Series grid for the first time in some time. Interestingly, has chosen a black color scheme rather than the usual red he represents in the Challenge Series. There are definitely red vehicles on offer, so that was most likely an intended decision. The Porsche GT4 is the tried and tested best vehicle in the category, only based on the fact that last season Travis Wild won the championship in it, and then second and fourth being occupied by the other drivers, third only being owned by a fellow, or a Lamborghini Gallardo driver. So that's going to basically set the stage for what this tier is going to be, is just Porsche versus Lamborghini. And anybody that doesn't drive one of those two cars is definitely on the back foot. On a track-by-track basis, one car will be better than the other. Obviously, the Gallardo is going to have a much better time at Monza or Black Cat County, but you take that Porsche to Laguna Seca or here, and it's going to be hard to stop it. Got a bit of a conga line exiting the second chicane. Just about the only way I can describe what this is. Everybody from like 13th up to like basically 6th. It's just in a giant conga line in the middle of the going around the middle part of the track. Linnea is up 2 spots from where she began, and she's trying to find a third, courtesy of passing Thrasher, but that's going to be hard to do when the GT40 has enough top speed to stay ahead. Just enough. Yeah, the Gallardo probably handles better, and it does theoretically have more power, but the GT40 also more aggressive AI. Not going to stop Linnea from trying here anyway. And, well, there it is. It wasn't the prettiest maneuver. But I figure once we get back onto the main straightaway, yeah, Linnea's out of here. Linnea has declared herself to be out of here. Schwartz still probably just about on autopilot right now. Farah is still in his mirrors, but it's not too great a threat at the moment. 1 second lead over the Lamborghini driver, and well, we've already passed the main straightaway. And now Thrasher's just being overwhelmed by faster vehicles. He got put out of position once now, probably, and left him vulnerable to others. Well, okay then. Now, Hikari overcooked it on the brakes and bumper to the back of, well, that car doesn't have a number, so. Oh, Linnea got right up to Thomas's back bumper. But actually never really hit it, which is sort of weird. She's gonna try through the last chicane. Very tight corner even with one car going through it. But fitting too wide is not very easy. And that decision making has cost Linnea probably 4th place. As there's Brian Ice to take advantage, but not very well. Oh, there's a nudge from Linnea. Thomas O'Reilly keeps it on the track. That was a save and a half right there. Yeah, O'Reilly, it's probably in your best interest to let the Lamborghinis pass before that happens again. I'm so shocked that O'Reilly kept that on the racetrack. Meanwhile, Hyde Cheeto is attempting to overtake Cameron Walker, but has encountered a Lotus on his travels, so now he's going to try and make a double overtake. But the 211 has too much cornering for that to be possible. He does, however, complete the move on the Audi for the moment. I don't think the Audi can make a retaliation there, so. But he has about a half a lap to try and make a pass on the 211. And I don't think so. I don't see that happening. Well, Schwartz, using his vehicle's incredible handling, seems poised to take the first win of D tier. And behind him is an entourage of Lamborghini Gallardos. And then it is the two of the GT40s, specifically the two GT40s that are going to actually complete the race, as Carly Watts got deposited by one of the Nissan GTR drivers. And that being Taniguchi back there. Sort of uncharacteristic of him, no less. While Hyde's there on the bumper of Cameron, does he make the move into the last of the corners? I think he probably, yeah, he does. Not even a question, he just smoked right by it. Does he get it slowed down in time, though? Yeah, he does. Barely. Not by much, but he has stolen a singular point right at the last breath from Isabella Flynn. If we were using the F1 starting line, I think we also might have outdragged Taylor to 9th, but we don't in Assetto Corsa, so. I mean, the point standing should be pretty obvious, it's just the finishing order. Apparently, for whatever dumb reason, it decided to not give hide the point for taking 10th away from Isabella. I guess this game probably does it based on when the leader crosses the finish line. That's my only guess. Because this definitely happened at the end of Tier C, which is the only reason that Thomas O'Reilly ended up with the championship was because he was in his position when the leader crossed the finish line. He didn't cross until almost a minute later because it's the Nordschleife, but also because of the fact that he got spun out by Hikari right at the end of the race. That would have cost him many places and would have given the championship to Thrasher instead. But it didn't happen that way because that happened after the leader had finished the race. And now we've just seen that. Schwartz had already finished the race before Keto made the overtake on the Lotus driver, and there we go. On to Red Bull Ring now for the second round. Well, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Doesn't sound like it should be a word. Anyway, Schwartz is once again the pole sitter, but this track is a little more straight line based. I'd say it's kind of 50-50 split here. However, his main competition, those being the Lamborghini drivers, are a little bit more ways down the order. Instead, his main competition is going to be James Stillwell and Thomas O'Reilly. And the poor get poorer, as in, well, Carly Watts finished last in the previous race and will start last again. And Hikari started 12th in both races so far, I think. Or somewhere around there. You would think being all-wheel drive, it would be an easy move off the line for the GTR, but apparently not. And Schwartz will take the lead again. Or not even take back. He'll just remain there. Don't know why I'm trying to add extra stuff to the sentence I don't need to put there. Suddenly Thomas O'Reilly has appeared. And that overtake was about as easy as you'd like it. Because I think he'll be out braking the GTR into the next corner despite having weaker acceleration. Now they're dead even heading towards the next turn. Inside line for O'Reilly, and also putting the GTR driver out on the curb. Means that I think the position is now finally his. Meanwhile, Fidanzi already making up for starting in just 7th place. She's already up to 4th place now. I don't actually know if it's Farah or Farah. I never really got the rundown on that. And maybe I should probably have selected a driver whose name I can actually pronounce for this vehicle, but I digress. Schwartz is absolutely out of here. Dude definitely knows he should have had a championship by now, and he's going to make darn sure he earns this one. His lap time is 1:44.444. What in the world? 444, the number of the Porsche. Okay. Carly Watts fighting to place, not last. Thrasher also fighting with Hikari for 12th. Icon numbers. For Watts, it's a losing effort. For Thrasher, it's as of yet undecided. This one's more of a battle between acceleration versus top speed. Well, when Hikari gets a corner exit like that, it really doesn't matter which one's on which side because Thrasher just drives away. Isabella Flynn really thought about diving it from there. I mean, yeah, your car has good cornering, but, like, that's just a little bit ridiculous, don't you think? As once again, we have the classic chain of vehicles running from, like... Honestly, that's, like, 2nd to 11th. O'Reilly up to 2nd, like he was there in the first place. Verdunzi is all over Stillwell's back bumper. He needs to find the right moment to take 3rd away. And this might just be it. If she, you know, drives correctly. Poor exit out of turn 1 means that Stillwell will remain in 3rd for the time being. Behind that, we have absolute pandemonium between all of the Italian cars on the racetrack. Literally all of them. 2 Lamborghinis, 2 Ferraris, 2 wide, along with another Lamborghini and a Nissan up ahead. And the inside line will prevail, as it usually does in racing. And that's 2 passes and 1 straightaway for Lene if she outbreaks Eric here. Or if Brian Ice just runs Eric off the road, that will also do the trick. So now Lene and Hyde are 5-6. These two joined the series at the same time, presumably as allies or friends or in some sort of joint relationship. But I don't expect them to just sit behind and wait around for each other to do something. No, if Lene gets any small opening, she's gonna go for it. Sometimes may not be the most advised choice, but she's gonna go for it either way. Honestly, she doesn't want to waste time trying to pass someone, so... Hyde, you better make that pass, and you better make it now. Or your little buddy here is just gonna do it for you. Send it! Does the inside line prevail even when you got a terrible exit? Cut a bit of the grass, it's totally fine. Still a heated drag race towards the next turn, but Lene not as hard on the brakes means she goes further into the corner, and there's the spot. Verdunzi at some point has also taken 2nd away from the Ford GT40. So we'll have the same 1st and 2nd as the previous race. But I don't think it'll be the same podium, because I don't think Lene can get up there in time. I mean, she might be able to take 4th away here if she exits T1 well enough. That might still be good enough to take it away. Cut some more grass. Does anybody know why there's these random numbers on the racetrack? Like 07, 33, and 51. Yeah, she is now back up to 4. She's into 4. She was never there in the first place. Can she steal a podium from O'Reilly, though? Schwartz is already past the starting line. Verdunzi is in the middle of the last corner. This has been a blowout effort from Schwartz. When he has one lap to try and take that place away. Meanwhile, Eric and Taylor are fighting for 8th place. Ahead of that, you have a three-way battle for 5th, but I don't think it's going to develop much more, as Hyde has had to defend from Brian Ice. Now he's going to try and pass the GTR ahead of him. He's certainly late on the brakes for it. Nope, you're 6th place, so not 6th and 6. Hyde is now the beast/devil. And I think he's gonna pretty easily out-drag the GTR before we get anywhere near the next corner. Minimal resistance from Stillwell. And Lene has taken 3rd away. So I think we are going to literally have the same top 3 as we did in the last race, unless Brian finished ahead of Lene in the last round. I don't remember. And Dedrick will take his 2nd win in a row in Tier D. Feeling the ultimate power of that Porsche GT4. 15 seconds later comes Farah Fidenzi for 2nd place. Lene will take 3rd, but we cannot complete the Lamborghini Gallardo streak as Brian Ice ends up with a mere 7th place. Isabella Flynn once again with the very consistent 10th place finish. Yeah, indeed. Lene also took 3rd before, so... O'Reilly versus Ice is the first point of deliberation. And, still 3 drivers with no points. Cameron, Hikari, and Carly have none. Onto the Nürburgring GP course. And we've reached Nürburgring GP circuit, and it certainly seems like the 3 drivers that have not scored yet, they will not be doing it here, as none of them start in the top 10. But in this particular scenario, the advantage is kind of facing more towards the Lamborghinis as Schwartz starts just 10th place. Lene is on pole, so she has a chance to sort of rope her way towards the championship fight between Fidenzi and Schwartz. And Isabella finally has a chance to finish better than 10th place. It sounds like a NASCAR. No, never mind. And Lene is out of here. And Fidenzi is 3 wide already, and she'll be clear of them both before we even reach the braking zone. Isabella is sending it a little bit there. I don't know if she just missed the braking point or if she really thought she could make the pass from there. Schwartz down places off the start, down to fighting for 11th with Cameron, which you will pretty easily take it back. But when you have low power like this vehicle, you do rely a lot on, you rely a little bit on starting grid luck, which Schwartz has not had in this particular race like he's had in the last 2. Stillwell trying to take position away from O'Reilly. He's technically on the inside, and there it is. O'Reilly found himself on the curb, and there's the place for him. Flynn is keeping Linnea a little bit on her toes right now. She's still very much in the mirrors. The handling difference is once again power versus cornering. Every corner, Isabella Flynn draws closer, but as soon as we get out of the corners and under a straightaway such as this, the Lamborghini steams off into the distance. It's sort of inevitable and constant give and take here. Although that said, it's not really getting that far away here. And if Isabella sees even a slight opportunity, she definitely pounces on it, and she definitely can pounce on it because the 211's brakes are much better than those of anything else in the class. And then right behind them is Fidenzi and her Lotus companion in the form of Taylor Lynn. However, that one's not so indecisive, as here comes Fidenzi on the 211, but that braking force is just about... What? She stuck that? Okay, Isabella, that was something else. So that was, Brian Ice also moving his way up the order. Schwartz doing so, but at nowhere near the same pace as the ones in front of him in the Lamborghinis are. And now that Isabella is centered on the, that was like a defense offense. She was defending from one Lamborghini and turned it into passing the other. How did... That just like baited me out. I don't even know how to react to the fact that I just did that. Does Taylor do the same thing, I wonder? Or will she do the same thing, I wonder? She's awfully close to these two Lamborghinis. She has an off chance to have a shot at it here. I don't think she'll be there. She certainly tried. She technically got two Fidenzis inside, but doing that on corner exit doesn't really mean as much as getting there on corner entry. So, nothing. Brian Ice, a very distant fifth, is trying to claw his way back. O'Reilly, once again, kind of having a quiet but consistent championship. He has 14 points, so his finishes must be like fourth or fifth and fourth up to this point. I think it's fifth, fourth. Yeah, because he was passed by Ice and Imola, but not at Red Bull Ring, so he's placed fifth and fourth in this championship so far. He's looking set for sixth, as he's got some breathing space in behind him. Stillwell apparently hit somebody at some point. That doesn't really surprise me too much. got a significantly smaller train than usual. A 5-car train being headed by James Stillwell. And then another similar 4-car train behind that, being led by Cam Walker. You have sort of a 3-car train here between Taylor and the other 2 Lamborghinis, which Brian Ice is, well, he's attempting to get closer to it, but I just don't think he is. Marginally so, yes, but not really. And Schwartz has been briefly overtaken by the 488 of Hyde-Keto. Does that remain that way? I think it will, as Hyde and Hikari almost come to blows. This close to contact, but I don't think any was made. So Schwartz, despite having an unbelievable first 2 races, seems to have hit a wall, metaphorically speaking, of course. You don't exactly have a blowout performance going here from Isabella Flynn. Certainly not when compared to the last race. But I think the way that she has won this race has certainly been on equal ground to what Schwartz did at the previous round. She actually had to pass somebody first, and then she drove off into the sunset. Schwartz never really had to do that. He had to defend his position twice, maybe once, maybe twice rather, and that was it. As soon as that second challenge was, you know, rejected, as it were, I couldn't think of a word. As soon as that second attempt by Fidenzi was rejected, she had nothing left, and Schwartz just cruised away. And then there was no resistance at Red Bull Ring, so Schwartz cruised away. But this time it's not so easy. It's much harder to pass in a control vehicle or a cornering vehicle than it is something like a Lamborghini. So if you can start ahead of the Lamborghinis every time, Schwartz will be set as stone. Or that doesn't make any sense. He'll be fine. He's good as long as he starts ahead of the Lamborghinis. The moment he doesn't really have the horsepower he needs to make up places during the race. And in fact is often at risk of losing one. Most likely due to failing attempts at passing people and being passed in return for being out of position. We've arrived at the final lap. This would probably have marked Taylor's last attempt to actually make the pass for points, which is obviously subsided now, because by the time that Taylor would get another shot, Isabella will probably have already crossed the finish. Certainly a step up from finishing 10th twice in a row. Schwartz re-overtook Keto, and now he's looking for some vengeance. This forced Schwartz outside, and after hitting the curb, hides back into 10th. He just needs to stay there for a handful more corners, and Schwartz will be kept completely out of the points positions, which is certainly a surprise, to say the least, considering his first 2 races were so astronomically dominant. As Isabella Flynn exits the last turn, she's not won many races in the Challenge Series, but there's one for Lotus, who've definitely not won many races in the Challenge Series. Monet will take another podium, Same with Fidanzi. Taylor Lynn will close out the Lamborghini sandwich, and Brian Ice 5th place. All the Lambos in the top 5, and bitter defeat for Dietrich Schwartz, who will exit the race scoring absolutely nothing. And Carly Watts with her 3rd consecutive bottom 2 finish. It ain't the car, I know that much, because we've got Thomas O'Reilly up there 4th in points in the same vehicle. It's just the starting grid luck and her inability apparently to make passes. It is a 4-point battle between 1st and 3rd in the championship. Thomas O'Reilly a very distant 4th. The only way he can take the points lead is if he wins the race, and Fidanzi scores nothing, and Lene gets like 9th or worse. And additionally, Dietrich getting no more than a top 8. And we're going to have a very lengthy race to complete the episode in the long circuit of Black Cat County, which I expect would be about an 11-minute race, I think. It is a very late evening race at Black Cat County, and the Lamborghinis of Ice and Fidanzi have walked out the front row. Unfortunately for Lene, she is nowhere near that and is in 13th. Schwartz is kind of splitting the 2 other championship rivals of Lene and Farah. And, yeah, the difference is I expect Lene to have very little issue making up positions during the race. Schwartz, on a track like Black Cat County, may not have it so easy. So this is Fidanzi's golden opportunity to take the points lead. And this will be one of the very few times where you'll ever see headlights in this game. Because you can't have night races in this game, for whatever dumb reason. Just because it's so realistic racing simulator is Assetto Corsa, and the game doesn't have nighttime by default. You can mod it in, yeah, but I'm on a PS4. I don't have that option. So, yikes. Hyde Keto is in 3rd with some rear bumper damage. Thomas O'Reilly has not had the greatest start ever, as he's gone from 6th to 9th. The driver that I was just praising at the end, towards the end of the last race for being super consistent, and he is falling down the order, as even Carly Watts is trying to get at him here. GT40 versus GT40, and a weird exit from O'Reilly is going to put him down yet another place. If I'm Fidanzi, I'm not exactly really that stressed about taking the lead away. Boy, this is just bedlam. Schwartz has found the barrier. His damage doesn't seem drastic, though. However, his lack of top speed certainly is. As there goes Carly Watts, looking for her first points of the championship. Suddenly here's Thomas O'Reilly to follow suit. Carly Watts makes another place on Cam Walker throughout the same corner. And here comes O'Reilly again. Shoots around the outside of the Cayman. Can he make the pass stick? It looks like a definite maybe. The drag race towards the next turn, GT40 ahead. But of course the Cayman, turning better, is going to barely salvage that position. Cam Walker, I believe, is the other driver who has not scored yet. And he's also looking in an okay position to change that here. Lene up to 11th, but she's obviously used her bumper to get here in some way, shape, or form. Apparently Schwartz just didn't take any damage when he hit that wall a moment ago, so that's curious. Very durable Porsche, that's for sure. Meanwhile, at the front, it is definitely the Battle of Italy between the two Lamborghinis and the distant threat of Hyde Keto's Ferrari. Nobody else really near. Actually, never mind. Thrasher is very much. Nope, he's been passed by Hikari. I thought he was in 4th. He's about to repass Hikari, though, through the very slow Initial D-esque hairpins. Lene up to 9th, looking for 8th on Carly. And, well, she'll get it. She's caught up to Dedrick Schwartz as the next target. And it should be a pretty easy target, because this is a very long straightaway and a very slow top speed opponent in the Porsche. To hold her line correctly, that's all she has to do. And she's just about done it. Never mind, the Porsche driver's still there, still hanging on for dear life for 7th place, not 8th. Mom has returned home, so there's going to be a lot of background noise for the last race. They're taking, well, is attempting to take 6th away. Huge lockup from Thrasher up ahead. Old brakes will do that. More fluxing the top speed of that Lamborghini might get her up to 4th or even 3rd here, depending on how aggressive she is. No, just 4th. The heck is that 4 doing? There's a wall there. I don't know if you're aware. Here comes the top speed again. Unfortunately, it's only the Superleggera. If it were just a regular Dorado, it would be more balanced, but... well, then again, it's also really hard to drive, so... oh, this is 4th, not 5th. I'm not paying a good enough attention, apparently. Ferrari has definitely lost the plot on the 2 leaders. Does Fidenzi attempt the last-second move, or does she just remain complacent with her 2nd place? That's the smart thing to do. Or every actual race car driver knows, you don't settle. Usually. top speed along the way. She's managed to take fourth numbers back. I don't know why the AI take the hairpin this way. They like take it in slow motion. Meanwhile at the back, Thomas O'Reilly is gonna end up finishing like 12th here. Not his best performance. Schwartz will salvage 8th place. He'll finish precisely where he started. As Brian Ice takes not exactly a commanding victory, but still very obviously a victory. And he recovers from 13th to 4th place to maintain her shot at the title contest. At the end of the episode here, those are your point standings. It is a tie for 3rd in points. 6 points between 1st and 2nd. And the top 4 within a race worth of points from each other. So the battle is still very much on at the moment. However, below that, a very jarring decline in points. And Cameron's still the only person with no points. Even though he definitely had a chance to score there, he just could not seize it.